Hey guys, Sledgehammer70 here, and today I want to do a quick vlog on cold air intakes. Now, I know there's a lot of people online that believe cold air intakes don't produce or give you any sort of performance gain at all. Honestly, they're dumb. They're stupid. Um, they do give you performance, and I have a dyno result to prove it from my last car, my 2016 Gen 5, and even already the 2016 Camaro SS. Now, it's not necessarily with a cold air intake, but if you open the stock box up just a little bit, I have dyno results that prove that increasing the airflow does increase horsepower and torque to the rear wheels in significant numbers, not just like, oh, I gained 2 or 3 horsepower, yay, or 2 or 3 torque. It's like double digit raw numbers. So, with that being said, there's a lot of new products coming out. So during SEMA, GM GM revealed their performance intake, highlighted that the intake would come with a tune and still keep the engine warranty for your vehicle, which is awesome. It looked devilishly like a cold air inductions intake from the Gen 5. It looks like more and more that GM did work with cold air inductions to create their performance intake. And also, cold air inductions teased information on the Camaro 6 forums the other day. And now a Chevy site has posted full details around their product as well. But they're not the only one out there. There's a lot of other companies. Roto-fab has one in development, and also Mishimoto has a cold air intake in development. While they haven't released numbers, cold air induction has, and their new cold air intake that they built for the 2016 Camaro SS is showing to increase horsepower by 11 horsepower and rear wheel torque by 27 foot-pounds. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 27 foot-pounds sounds pretty high, but even if it was 15 or 20, torque's what's going to win you races. So horsepower sells cars, torque's win races. So if we could truly get that kind of increase in torque on these brand new SSs, that's awesome. And they're not that expensive either. I mean, they're like under $500 for their systems, and it's pretty cool. Cold air intakes are, one, super easy to install, but two, they give you a lot more airflow into the vehicle. Now, why do these high performance vehicles and GM engineers not make them to perform the best they can? And the simple answer is emissions. GM off the factory floor has to meet certain standards set by the government. They have to have, certain smog requirements and all sorts of things. And when it comes to certain states, it gets even worse. So they have to overbuild the system and kind of put the engine, they give the engine asthma. It can't breathe. And the horsepower is all done based on after all of these fancy doodads and restrictors and everything across the board are added to the motor. It shows you, one, how potent this LT1 motor really is. Like if you put if you port everything and put a good intake, I mean, these motors are turning out a lot more horsepower and a lot more torque than they're rated, which is awesome. But unfortunately, it just shows you how tightly they have to follow these crazy emissions and what they actually have to do to get the motor into a place where they can get, approval, government ratings and stamps and all that kind of crap. Back to my argument of some people think cold air intakes are pointless and they don't add power. They're just wrong. It's proven. I've proven that if you increase the airflow into this vehicle without a tune, you get 10 horsepower increase, 10 foot-pound torque increase. That's impressive in its own right. That's doing nothing outside of just the airbox sits like this. We unscrewed the bolts and just did that. I mean, I opened it up about that wide. That's not that very much, but it increased direct airflow into the motor, and I saw that kind of increase. That's insane. Like, that is awesome and insane. But one thing that GM is offering, and it's pretty cool, is they've already announced that with their cold air intake, they're going to offer a tune with it. And they're saying that their setup offers 33% better airflow into the motor. And I believe their tune is simply just adjusting the airflow sensors and stuff like that to compensate for all that additional air. I know when we did our test, you could definitely hear the car when we started it up and everything, that it was the computer was trying to make sense of all this new air coming through, because the way the car was running, you could just tell it you know, the ECU was jumping all over the place trying to figure out what was going on. But after about a minute or two, it settled down, and when we did a dyno pull, show it here, you can hear that suction of air when you hit on that gas pedal. But two, the performance. You could hear you could see the performance on the dyno graph. You know, we did plenty of stock runs beforehand to see how the car was performing. The only change was opening that air box, and to see that kind of difference, you just know these motors are starving for air. So I personally believe a cold air intake is probably the best investment you can do for your car in regards to how inexpensive it is compared to adding like headers and exhaust and all of that, but also install. It's super easy. Anybody could do it. It's not hard. And the cool thing with all the designs I've seen so far, they're all encompassing the same sound enhancer. They're all encompassing the PVC connection, etc. You can see already we put the catch can on the PVC side to stop the oil from going into the intake on our stock setup. With the Mishimoto catch can, and if you guys haven't seen that video, here's a link here. But in general, these things are easy to install. They're incorporating, the mass airflow sensor, the intake sound tube, and the PVC connection. So they're all staying within the GM requirements. And even if you go with the GM one, they're saying it keeps the warranty and that there's a tune with the car. Now, they said that at SEMA. We'll see what actually happens when they release, depending on what all the GM lawyers let them do and all that greatness. But it's a good time to be a 2016 Camaro SS owner. The springtime is coming, and we got a lot of cool cold air intake systems for our cars that we will be able to choose from, and also see the performance difference across the board. But in general, let me know. Are you guys going to get a cold air intake for your Camaro SS? Have you guys had a cold air intake before? Let me know in the comments below. I love talking with you guys. As you notice, across the board, I jump in and respond to just about every single post and comment that I can. But yeah, let me know. And thanks for watching this video. And until next time, I'll see you guys on the road.